Step 8. So the next thing we have to do is put our copper foil around each piece. Copper foil comes in packages like this on rolls. I'm going to suggest that you use 7/32 inch. It's a little bit wider, so easier to use on some of the wider pieces. I like using black back. There's also copper back, but the reason I use black back is I always finish my pieces with black, so this doesn't show when it's done. So this is a self-adhesive product. So all you do is you get it started, and you take one of your pieces, and I use my shirt a lot, but some people have little fancy rags for everything. That's why I wear an apron. I dust it off, make sure there's not a lot of powder on the piece from grinding it. And then I like to start near, I'll call it a corner. And you put the piece on and you pinch it down on both sides. Now there's many tools again for doing this. I like just doing it by hand and eyeballing it. When you're doing it, you have to look down and you want to see that you have the same amount of foil on this side as this side. So you just lightly go around a section of it, making sure, just kind of glancing side to side, making sure it's even on both sides. The better you put your foil, the better the solder goes on, the nicer it looks. It's kind of a very important stage. So then with your warm fingers, you just kind of bend the foil in. Just lightly bend it down, and you're going to wrap the whole piece like that, doing sort of one little section at a time on the corners. Make sure you fold it over, bend it down, and roll a little bit. Again, like I say, watching that it's similar on both sides. Just do the best you can with it. Worst case scenario, if you mess it up, you can always just pull it off and try another piece. It's not that expensive of a product. If you waste a little bit, that's okay. As in any craft, practice makes perfect. It takes time to get all of these techniques to a point where you're really comfortable with them. So this is where we started. So this is where we end. I like ending on a join. So you just rip it off, pinch it down. The one tool we use with this is called a FID. There's wooden ones and plastic ones. Now that you have it pushed on with your fingers, you're going to go around with the FID and you're going to push down pretty hard. You just want to make sure there aren't any air bubbles under the copper foil. And you just carry on doing all the bits. Get one side done, flip it over, and you do the other side. Okay, so that's your finished piece. If where you started, sometimes we call it a little tail, a little piece that's not quite lined up. You just take an X-Acto knife and you're just going to cut that little tiny bit off. That's going to make for a nicer line when you do your soldering. So this process will be done on all of these pieces, and we'll just carry on with that. And then the next thing we'll do is I'll show you the next steps, so we'll come back to that.